Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with my first battle report using Empire. And you know, it's funny, this is my first game with Empire. It's using a lot of proxies, a lot of unpainted models. I just don't know what else to do. I like to start playing with things so that I know how I want to build my army and buy stuff and paint it and all that. So thought I'd go ahead and just proxy and give it a go and see how I liked it. So I have a Vampire Council opponent. We decided just to do a pitched battle because I would be referring to my book a lot as it is. We just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So starting on my left, he's got a rather large unit of zombies, some Graveguard with the Banner of Barrows. In with him is his White King, a Battle Standard Bearer. I know he had the Sword of Anti-Heroes. I don't know if he had anything else. Behind it, a couple Fell Bats, a Corpse Cart. Then to the right, a largish unit of skeletons with hand weapon shield with 2 level 2 vampires in there. And kitted out, as you can see, as much as I remember. I'm positive they had ASF and they had the wards, and I know they each had a magic sword. Those are the ones I think they had, but I'm not positive. And then on my far right, he's got another unit of skeletons with his Vampire Lord. I know he has these three things. I don't know if he had anything else. And then there's some more Fell Bats. So I'm looking at those 2 units. It's like, man, he's got kind of the best of both worlds. He's got enough skeletons that I'm not going to be steadfast, and he's got some killing power with his characters. So they're rather tough units to deal with. My great swords might be okay because they're stubborn, but anybody coming into my halberdiers I'm a little bit concerned about. On my far right, he's got a black coach. Facing him, I've got some handgunners on the hill. Got 9 knights, and these are lowest level knights with a lance. And I put a warrior priest in there, and he has the crown of command. So in putting this unit in my list, I kind of like the idea of them securing a flank, maybe charging a big tough unit in the flank and just holding them up if that's what I need. After this game, if nothing else, I think they need to be upgraded and or given great weapons, but regardless. So I've got a large unit of great swords on the right. I believe I put 40 great swords, but then there's a bunch of characters in there that I'll detail in just a minute. The Grail Reliquary model is standing in for Celestial Hurricanum, and then I have a unit of Halberdiers with some Bretonnian men-at-arms stepping in to take their place, and there's a small detachment of archers in front of them. So in the unit of great swords, I got 3 characters. There's a warrior priest on the far left, no upgrades, he's just there to give him hatred. There's a witch hunter, which I just love the idea of a witch hunter, and I bought the model. I can't wait to paint it. But I gave him the speculum because I know he's going to be getting in challenges with enemy characters. He has a charmed shield, brace of pistols, so he can maybe pick off a character. I didn't realize the brace of pistols had a range of like 12 inches. Greatly reduces their effectiveness, but I guess you can't have everything. Then the Bretonnian damsel is standing in for a wizard lord. I took Heavens and a Dispel scroll. And then here's my halberdiers. I've got my Captain BSB in there. I just gave him the Talisman of Preservation. And then I've got another warrior priest just to give them hatred. Of course, on the other side is a steam tank, and the engineer has a Hawkland long rifle, which I forgot about all game. And then I've got 5 outriders. So we go to Vanguard. I move the outriders over. I really like them on my flank just to sit there and make sure that you know, things like bats or any other kind of fast cav aren't coming around to harass me. In this game, I'm not too awful worried about the bats because he only has 2 units of 2. So my thinking with these guys is just to have them help whittle down the Graveguard. So we roll for first turn, and he gets it, and he moves up, as you can see. Sorry about the blurry picture. He flies his Fell Bats all the way over where you can see him. And his black coach moves up. Magic phase, nothing of significance happens really. I think he grew a few more zombies, who cares. We go to Empire turn 1. So I decided, I haven't decided yet how to play the steam tank, but in this case I just chose 2 steam points because I believe if I choose more than that and I do misfire, that it makes the misfire result worse, and I didn't need to do a whole lot. The short range was plenty for the cannon, and I didn't want to move up too much. So I moved him up on 1 steam point. I shot a cannon with another steam point. Didn't move my back line at all, which just kind of feels weird. I did move my archers up a little bit. Here on the right, I shot at the black coach, couldn't do anything, moved my knights up. I think he's unlikely to reach me in a charge, and I think I have a chance of getting into him as well. After shooting between the outriders and the cannon, I just get some of these guys. I was really hoping to get the corpse cart, and I hit it and wounded it, but he made his regen save. So Vampire Count's turn 2. Again, he moves up, as you can see. He was really... I think he charged his zombies to my steam tank and failed the charge. That's why the zombies are kind of stuck out there in the middle of nowhere. The Graveguard, I want to say he might have charged with them into somebody and failed it, of course, so I think that's why those are staggered back a little bit. The skeletons, he knew he was far away, so he just marched up with them. You can see he flew his bats on the right, kind of in a weird position in my flank. Over here, his black coach was barely in range of my handgunners, so he declared a charge, and I failed my terror test, and they ran. But at least they're painted. Yeah, there's those bats on the right. I don't know what he was doing. I'm curious if he'll make a comment on this battle report, because I don't know what his plan was with these guys. But my great swords could see him, and so my thinking was, shoot, I'll just charge him. I'll easily kill him, and then I can just reform and face the vampires unit that's going to come in no matter what I do. Over here, his bats came to my left. I'm not even going to worry about him. I'm still going to shoot. Well, that's not true. I'll tell you what I do later. Anyway, like I said, he moves up. So Empire turn 2. So let's see. Starting on the left, I charged the steam tank into the Graveguard. I think the steam tank is a wonderful counter to elite troops, and if I can just keep the Graveguard away, that'll allow my 2 big blocks to deal with his 2 big blocks, and at least then I have a chance. The Graveguard's up in there, I don't have a chance whatsoever. And also, his zombies are so far away from everything that I don't know that they're going to be able to participate much in the battle either. I go ahead and take my archers up and redirect his middle unit with the 2 vampires, because if they charge into my unit of halberdiers, whom I've given myself ranks, by the way, obviously, I'm not sure I'm going to be steadfast there. He starts off with more ranks, he's got 2 vampires, so I'd really just rather avoid combat as long as possible. Over here on the left, I go ahead and move my outriders. There's nothing they can shoot at now that's going to make a difference to me. I mean, I could shoot at the corpse cart, but I don't think I'm going to do too much to it. And then I would just get charged in the flank with these bats. So I just went ahead and put myself in the woods. If he wants to charge, I'll get a stand and shoot. If he doesn't, he can't march. He can only move 10 inches, and so I think I'll be able to shoot him no matter where he is. And I thought that was a good use of the outriders. So I was loving this. Just this steam tank. I mean, I'm curious to see how it plays out, but I just love the idea that it's unbreakable and tough to wound. So again, we get a million pictures. This is my great swords going into his bats. My knights, because he failed the charge and couldn't redirect, my knights had a fairly easy charge into the black coach. I've got twice as many points as he does in my unit than he does in the black coach. I really like to think that I can get in there. The bummer is that on his magic phase, he's up to 3 now on his chart, so he has killing blow, which of course isn't good. So after combat, yeah, I was only able to do 1 wound. I mean, I was coming in at strength 5, hatred, yeah, whatever. I did 1 wound on him. One of his stupid horses, they're not skeletal steeds, nightmares, got killing blow on one of my knights. And so after combat res, I got him down to 3 wounds, but I couldn't pop him completely. So that was a little disappointed in their performance. I was not disappointed, however, with the steam tank's performance. You will notice there are significantly less Graveguard here. Basically, I just went for broke with 5 steam points, so I got 3 impact hits, 3 D3 impact hits, plus D6 impact hits, and then I was able to lay down throw in there a strength 3 breath weapon. And with all that, yeah, I got him. During my magic phase, I got the spell off on my steam tank that I could reroll 1s, so if he did wound me, I could reroll the armor save, and I think it was just overkill. I didn't need it. So we go to Vampire Count's turn 3, and one of my favorite moments in Warhammer history just occurred. So his Vampire Lord charges my greatswords. The greatswords obviously beat the bats. They reformed to face this. He charged. I did a stand and shoot with the Witch Hunter, hitting on 5s, wounding on 5s. with Killing Blow. I got the Killing Blow, and he missed his ward save and killed the Vampire Lord. That has got to be demoralizing. And what I was really hoping, now he has to take tests army-wide. I was hoping that would kill his Black Coach, but it didn't. Now this skeleton unit still has to make their charge, and now, you know, the Greatswords are going to mop them up. So that was pretty awesome. I hear people say that Witch Hunters, you know, aren't really that helpful. That's situational. That may be true, but when the situation arises, it's awesome. That was just beautiful. So anyway, there's the charge I made there. The other middle unit of skeletons charged my archers, as did his corpse cart, and his zombies came into the flank of my steam cannon, my steam tank. And I'm just loving that, because those two units are going to sit there all game. I'm going to direct... My thought was to direct all my attacks at his Graveguard just to try to kill that unit off. And then if the tank sits there with the zombies the rest of the game, I'm okay with it. Here on the left, he just flies his bats over. 3 of my guys can still see them. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's being an archer in the Empire Army is kind of like being a harpy in my Beastman Army. It's not a good place to be. And so these guys, I'll be hitting on 3s, but I have the Celestial Hurricanum, so I'm hitting on 2s, rerollable with Hatred, and then wounding on 2s. Yeah. After the magic phase, he goes from 2 Graveguard to, I think, 7 Graveguard, or 9 Graveguard, whatever. That was kind of a frustrating thing. And then after combat, yeah, we did a bunch of wounds, popped a bunch through combat res, but it's such a big unit, he still has what you see. I'm very confident I'll mop him up next round of combat. And over here, this is crazy. This time he got 2 Killing Blow on my knights. And of course now I can't wound him because I'm strength 3 and he's toughness 6 with a 3 up and then a 4 up. So I'm not doing any wounds on this thing, and he's just getting Killing Blow. Just, you know, 1 last turn, 2 this turn. I think that Black Coach is going to mop up my knights, and by the time it's done, it'll be revved up to flying ethereal nastiness. So here in the middle, you can see obviously my steam tank didn't do any damage this turn because I can't on his turn. The archers are dead and he reformed. Yeah, 3 Outriders is all it took to kill both of his bats. And over here, look, I'm missing a couple more knights. Yeah, it's ticking me off. Yeah, after this round of fighting, yeah, his skeletons didn't stand a chance. So at the end of my turn, the Greatswords just reformed. And over here, through all my attacks, everything at the Graveguard. This time I think I allocated 2 to grinding and 3 to the template, to the breath attack. But then when I rolled my breath attack, it was like I rolled a 3. So I was really bummed. I was really hoping to get these guys killed. In hindsight, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be better to allocate everything at the zombies, just get a lot more wounds, win combat, and whittle this Graveguard down through combat res. But that's tough. He's got a flank, you know, a couple banners and all that. So on his turn, he comes charging in with his dual vampire skeleton unit. This one really did concern me because, again, I'm likely not going to be steadfast, and he's likely going to win combat because he's got the 2 vampires. One thing that was in my favor was during my magic phase, I got 2 spells off. One, I could reroll any 1s that I have in combat, and he has to reroll 6s. So that's great. It's especially great when his skeletons are trying to make parry saves. So all I need here is to be steadfast, or at least not to lose combat by much. If you look at my Battle Standard Bearer unpainted model that's laying on his back on the ground, I just pulled him out of the unit on my turn so he wouldn't die in combat, and he's just standing there. I need a BSB model. So over here on the left, you can see we're just kind of sitting there, just sitting there. He's growing back his Graveguard. Over here, this is crazy. When I had all the advantages, this Black Coach was beating me in combat, and now I was down to just a few knights. He fails to wound me, or he does 1 wound on me. I have a banner. I win combat because of Musician, and that's what puts the final wound on him. So, go figure. Kind of funny. So, there's that combat. Yeah, here's this one. Nothing's happening to the steam tank because he can't wound me. After combat here, I want to say that I ended up actually winning combat. He just really couldn't do that many wounds to me because of the two buffs, or the buff and the debuff that were in place. I did a fair number of wounds. I won combat. I reformed to give myself horde formation because the next time we fight, I'll have great swords in their flank, and I'm not worried about being steadfast at that point. So we go to Empire turn 4, and this is, I mean, we kind of knew already the game was probably over. The best chance he had was breaking my halberdiers, and since that didn't happen, now he's got great swords in the flank. That again, they're hitting on 2s, rerollable, wounding on 2s. It's a bad day to be a skeleton. The horde of halberdiers is going to do just fine by themselves, and after combat, he has 1 vampire left on 1 wound, and everything else died through combat or through combat res. Just absolutely obliterated him. And I even made a mistake because I had a witch hunter here that with the speculum that I could have and should have issued a challenge with him. Instead, I issued a challenge with my halberdier champion, and just dumb. I mean, I had the speculum. I could have mopped him up, and even he wouldn't have even had this. But at that point, you know, what does it matter? So if you look at the top, I wasn't able to finish off his Graveguard, but at this point, geez, what does it matter? I mean, I'm obviously gonna win. The only thing he has left is a corpse cart and those 2 other units. We've got a couple turns left that I can either kill more stuff or not, and either way win the game. So it was late. We decided to call it that and just claim the victory for the Empire. So it was kind of a fun game. I think my biggest concern with this list is, well, the knights need to change. It's just too little. I think I just need to make them inner circle, give them great weapons, or maybe both. I don't like that in my movement phase I have 2 big blocks and I'm just sitting still. I've always kind of disliked games like that, but I felt like he was on me so fast that, you know, what was I going to do? I mean, I was in the position I wanted to be in. Yeah, I don't know. So I'll take any comments on suggestions on what to do with the list to make it more interesting, or if you like this list or whatever. I'm open to criticism on it. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.